Okay, so happy Sunday and welcome to Viewers' Voices in Donu's World. Now, those of you who've been with me in the past will know that I used to have a special section at the end of my Wednesday videos and my Friday videos, which were dedicated to viewers' voices, i.e., the messages that people who see my videos send via YouTube and other social media platforms. And then we took a break from having those special segments at the tail end of the videos because I wanted to think of a better way of honoring the people who take the trouble to respond to my work, my opinions, the stuff I share with you. And when I talk about honoring the people who take the trouble, I also mean people who offer constructive criticism. By no means do I only respond positively to people who praise me or say I'm wonderful. Okay? Though, I mean, please, you're welcome to continue, some of you, to say that I'm wonderful. But I also don't mind people telling me where I'm going wrong or if they disagree with me. So this is a special new space for Donu's World viewers, and it's an opportunity for me to spend a little bit more time on the people who get in touch with me. So let me start with comments from last Friday's Donu's Week video, which was titled My Last Week in London. And first one came from Emma J Music, whom I know because we've spoken on the phone. She's actually based in Australia, I think. Yes, Australia, not New Zealand. I get confused sometimes, sorry. And she says she laughs at the fact that I said I was very tired. She said I was asking too much of myself. And she also comments on something else I have online, which is a podcast called Africa Here and Now, which I do with two friends called Martina and Patrick. And it's about African countries and what's going on across the continent. So Emma J now watches that as well. So she's got some very positive comments to make about that. So she enjoyed the questions. Okay. And she said, last week I flagged up the idea of starting an online club for Donu's World viewers. And we're actually, my team and I are actually working on it now. You'll be able to sign up on Easter Sunday and it'll be launched on the 1st of May. And Emma J Music picked up on that and she says she's made a suggestion because I did ask for ideas and suggestions. So Emma, I'm so grateful to you for complying. And what she says is, we could perhaps each email a question or topic each week and leave it to you to decide which to cover. She says time zones are a major issue and privacy, but I think, yeah, that's true. But please, it's a great idea. Send in topics. Can't wait to see them. And I will cover as many of them as I can. Okay? Thank you for that. And then there's Patricia Russell, who just sends love from the USA. Thank you, Patricia. And then there's Mary Jane Wilston. These are all responses to last Friday's video, which is now called Donu's Week. And I had commented on how tired I was and how unfit I was. And Mary Jane says, keep moving. It will keep you young. And I think I must have said something about someone hating me because she says she can't imagine anyone hating me. Well, thank you, Mary Jane. I can assure you, there are loads of people who can't stand my guts. Actually, a lot of the time it's not really personal. It's because of things I've said as a journalist in my newspaper column or, on one of my podcasts. So it's not necessarily that they know me and hate me because they know me really well. Sometimes they just hate what I represent or a particular viewpoint I've expressed. And for example, lots of people hate me, not me personally as such, but lots of people don't like the fact that I don't like Donald Trump, for example. But when they meet me, they think I'm not such a bad person. So I suppose it's like that thing they say about hate the sinner. No, hate the sin, not the sinner. So people sometimes hate me for what I represent rather than for who I am or for views I express rather than for what I'm like when they actually meet me. So now I'm going to move on to viewers' voices from last Wednesday's video because now we have videos on Fridays where I talk about my week, little highlights here and there of the week that has just passed. And then we have on Wednesdays a show called Nigeria Unfiltered, where I complain bitterly about one aspect of Nigeria or the other. And for the past month, my bugbear has been President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his favorite sidekick, as I call him, one of the ministers, the minister for the Abuja area. And so, I won't go into too many details about what they're up to. Frankly, all I can tell you is that they've hijacked my hometown and I'm not happy about it. And so let's look at what people are saying about my last complaint about the president of Nigeria and his cronies. The title of that particular video from Nigeria Unfiltered was, "Why did God foist Tinubu on Nigeria?" And loads of people love that title because they feel very foisted upon at the moment and very, very negative towards the president. So let's see what Donu's World viewers thought. I did ask in that video whether they thought someone else could have done a better job than Tinubu, and Margaret George says yes, Tinubu is the worst or worse. And then she says, "God bless you, Mom." I suspect she's Nigerian and feeling as frustrated as I do about the situation. And then there's someone called Rosie Collier, filmmaker. And she says, "Thank you kindly for your insights, opinions, and views on the current political situation in Rivers State. As to your question regarding whether other presidential hopefuls would have done a better job than Tinubu, it is a better job than Tinubu is currently perceived as doing. You answered it yourself when you said, actually, you never really know in life." Because I did say that, to me, Tinubu's a real monster at the moment. Honestly, I'm so pissed off with him. And I'm saying that practically, as you know, because in every country there's an election, and in all these countries that claim to be democratic, and when one person wins and starts doing badly, you start wondering whether the person who didn't win would have been better. And so that was the question I asked. And Rosie Collier says, well, you were right to say that you never really know who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. And she says she has a question for me. What impact is martial law having on your everyday lives of people in Rivers State? Well, that's a very good question, Rosie. Let's just say we've only had a military ruler in Rivers State for about 2 weeks. And so far, he's sort of dismantling democratic institutions, breaking the law, ignoring court judgments, and just generally doing as he pleases. But so far, there's no concrete evidence of economic impact or, wider consequences. But the Nigerian Bar Association has just cancelled a conference it was going to have in Port Harcourt, which is the capital of Rivers State, Port Harcourt. And I think there are going to be a lot of little cancellations and big cancellations that we don't know about, which are happening at the moment, which we haven't yet been told about. Because, let's face it, if you could go in and do business in a happy place where everybody's vibrant and there's freedom and democracy. Or you could go and do business in a place where everybody's depressed and frightened and living under the cosh of a tyrant. Which would you pick? So I suspect that a lot of business people are going to steer clear of River State for the foreseeable future. But who knows? Maybe something really unexpected will happen. But what I can tell you is that the main consequence I personally have observed is that people are really, regular folks are very depressed about it. And they're sort of like kind of dazed and they don't know what to do. Going out to fight it, it's dangerous. The police might shoot tear gas or bullets at them. And then some of the people who've tried to organize protests have been called in for questioning, arrested. So, it's not a good situation. So our day-to-day lives, it's only been a couple of weeks. I don't live there anyway, but obviously I've got lots of friends and relatives there. And none of them is very cheerful right now, I can tell you that much. But, they are going about their lives as normal for now, going to the shops, going to the market. But I think I'll tell you more when I have more information and when more time has passed in which we can assess the impact. And special shout out for Patricia Wask. She's one of my most regular respondents. She's been a member of this club. I mean, we'll talk about that later, but she's been one of my people for a long time. And she not only does she often comment on YouTube, she comments on Facebook and she comments on Messenger. She takes an interest, even though she's a white American lady and a Trump supporter, I hasten to add. She takes a very genuine, warm, decent interest in other human beings and in what's going on in Nigeria. So I thank her for that, because she's, to be honest with you, someone like Patricia, she's the last type of person I would expect to be interested in nitty-gritty details in an African country. And it just goes to show you, never judge by appearances or by the label on the tin. Look at each individual for who they are. And, Patricia, you deserve a special fan badge. And Emma J Music and all the other people who contact me regularly, I thank you. And we are starting a new club from Easter Sunday. You can sign up. It's going to be a website. More details are coming. We'll explain. But everything is being prepared. Please send in ideas. Send in topics you want me to talk about. Send in ideas about how you think the club should be. Should it just be a chat room where we have polls and we recommend books to each other? It's all about, like I keep on saying, it's all about trying to be more interconnected, trying to give everybody a place where they can pop in and feel welcome and argue and have constructive criticism and listen to constructive criticisms as well as praise. Actually, somebody criticized me on talking about constructive criticism. Someone criticized me last week after I complained about the situation in River State. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't find his message here, which is kind of strange. I can't find his message here, but I did read it the day my Wednesday video was posted on YouTube. And he accused people like me of taking sides in the political quarrel that's going on in River State instead of acting as as peacemakers and bringing the two warring factions together. Because I suppose as a journalist, I could play that role. And as a journalist who knows all the key people involved in this quarrel, so I think that's a very valid criticism. I think people like me and other people are often prone to take sides in a very one-sided way without looking at the bigger picture or trying to bring the people who are fighting together. So thank you for that observation. Some people did try to play peacemaker, but I don't think enough of us tried that. and it's too late now anyway, because as a friend of mine said, when you have someone who has a God complex, which both the president and the minister have, they become implacable. So it's actually very hard to get them to sit down and change their position on anything, and forgive and forget. And so, but I agree that some of us could have tried harder to achieve that result in the early days of the quarrel. So, see you on Wednesday, the next Nigeria Unfiltered. If you're not interested in Nigerian issues, see you next Friday on Donu's Week. And send in your responses, because every Sunday from now onwards, there will be a special show on Sunday where your views are shared. Thank you very much.